Thanks for joining us on another episode of the Coffee Roaster Warm Sessions podcast. In this episode, we're talking about drip coffee at home. Now, if you've been a listener of the podcast, you know how much we love a good cup of batchy or good cup of drip coffee. And we've become huge fans of drinking drip coffee at home. It's simple, it's easy, it's convenient, and really tasty. There's still so many bad coffee, drip coffee machines out there that you shouldn't buy. But over the years, we've gotten some really phenomenal drip coffee makers that enable us to make really good coffee at home. And so in this episode, we talk about how to build out a killer drip coffee setup at home that'll wow you, that'll wow your neighbors, your cousins, your family, anybody who comes over that you make a drip coffee for. Let's get into this. This will be a fun episode because this is what we're all about. This is what the crux of Mirror Coffee Roasters.
Exactly.
Just kidding.
We started a bit before actually calling it a bit.
What's up?
We started a bit before we actually called it a bit.
What bit?
In the beginning with the batch brew.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It was such an unintentional segment.
Yeah. This is a very fitting time to say let's pour some batchy.
Yes.
And see what we're brewing.
I'm scared to guess what coffee this is.
You're scared?
Yeah.
Oh no.
I have no idea. I saw that it came out of a mirror bag unless you swap some beans out of there.
No.
To trick me.
I'm biased because I know what coffee this is. But reminds me of a Ethiopia that we used to have like a year ago, which was Duramina number 7 from Agaro. And or a year ago, or maybe even more. I don't even remember when we last had that coffee. But
what was the last Ethiopian coffee that we had?
We had a
2K,
beginning of the year. 2K, yeah. Mm-hmm. It was a natural, nice little fun.
Yeah.
Coffee. So
I froze that.
Yeah, nice.
I'm about to pop it open. Not right now, like later. I want to give it a year. Yeah, vacuum seal it.
I'm gonna have to ask you to help me on a vacuum seal project because I don't want to buy a vacuum sealer just to vacuum seal.
Oh yeah.
A few beans, but
yeah,
I want to vacuum seal the geisha.
Oh, you should.
Just
like 5 years.
A few portions, yeah, for 5 years ahead.
Smart. Yep. Figured that's smart. Yeah.
Yeah. Which that geisha will be dropping very soon here. But yeah, this is an Ethiopian. It's just very bright. It's not like a classic Ethiopian. It's like blueberry, fruity or berry. It was actually when we read the tech sheet, you get this sheet from the importer that is like an explainer of the coffee and processing taste. And dude, they were so spot on their flavor notes.
Yeah.
Just
who did we buy from?
Ocido, which is actually a new company that we got samples from.
It's our first coffee from them.
But yeah, very bright, citrusy, lemony, just tea-like, black tea, florals, just that kind of Ethiopian, which is like the kind of the other extreme of Ethiopian coffees. You go from like fruity to like really lemony, grapefruity, delicate, juicy, vibrant. So that's what this one is. So
yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, it cups better than what I'm tasting right now. I think you slightly over extracted it.
I think so too.
Yeah,
I think so too. I think the cupping actually cupped like 2 weeks ago with this coffee. Just threw it on, and it was ripping.
Yeah,
it was very nice. Came out with some just great still had slight berry undertones. Really, though, still vibrant and zippy. Yeah. It was nice. It was nice. So,
we didn't have any of the on-label. Oh, we never dropped this on label. Okay, gotcha. Straight to the label.
Not sure why, but that got missed in the hassle.
Went straight to the label.
Because I think we had the Sebastian.
Yeah, we had two
on the no label.
Exactly.
But that being said, folks, literally just this past week we dropped the Sebastian Ramirez from Finca El Placer, pink bourbon washed. It's a lovely coffee. It's a lovely coffee. It's big, sweet.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm always shocked that it's like a very traditional washed, because it just does not taste like it. It's got so much character
Yeah.
and interest, and it rips on filter, and it also rips on espresso with some milk. Like every time I made that for somebody,
It's a good overall coffee.
they've always been like, "What the heck am I drinking?"
Yeah. Is that what you're brewing at home on espresso?
Yeah, that and some leftover geisha and
Oh, nice. Yeah.
and some other stuff. So I don't know. What do you think about the Sebastian? Like, give the people some insight on this and why they should actually pick it up, because they probably should.
Yeah. I think what fascinates me about it is, again, I'm scared to share this because I feel like if it's taken out of context, it doesn't fit right. But that caramel undertone, that it's, again, I said this and now I'm regretting it. I said that because people automatically assume that if you're tasting that caramel sweetness, your coffee is quote unquote like borderline medium roast or not light and all. This coffee, when it read fairly light for us, or in our spectrum of light, but it had this very vivid sweetness that held the cup together really, really well. So I love the coffee on the aftertaste. I think it has a very clean, long-lasting aftertaste. But it's also very different than most of our coffees. So if you look at our flavor notes tend to fall in a category. Almost all of our bags sometimes have an overlap. We have a tight Venn diagram of coffees we like. Yes. But I would say out of all of our coffees, this one is significantly different. And it doesn't have as much overlap in a good way. So I think if your curiosity piques like, I know what like preference Muir has, I would give this one a shot to be slightly surprised, but still hit within our preference.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's not, I don't know. I wouldn't say it's like super out of the ordinary. Like, yeah, I think it's a good, that's a good explainer of saying like, it's similar to kind of what we like, has a lot of the same qualities, but it's also fairly distinct. It's got distinct. Yeah. It's very distinct. So very interesting coffee, and our first coffee from Sebastian. Yeah. Probably won't be our last because it's just a very nice coffee. And so many roasters carry his coffee, I mean, for very good reasons. Yeah. So this Ethiopia is probably going to land literally the day this podcast rolls out. And we'll have the Sebastian coffee already out. So if you're listening to this, you need some more coffee for your coffee bar. Go pick up both. Yeah. It's going to be a great combo. Actually, both of those are going to be
because they're not on the same
spectrum. Yeah. So if you want something that's like, one day you want to drink one coffee and you want something very different, buy those two, and then you'll get like worlds apart, flavor preference wise and presentation wise. So that's that. And then also next week we'll have a fun little geisha maybe landing. That's very, very limited. So, and that one, that one has a fun little story behind it, which we'll share later. But, anyways, batch brew, we've been huge fans of the batch brew. I feel like I'm missing a batch brew at home and I need one.
I thought you had one.
No, I don't.
Oh, okay.
So there's just, I don't know. The Aiden has like blown me away in many ways, and realizing like, other than like the nostalgia of like making a nice pour over or dialing something in incrementally, you're getting 85% of the same experience with a nicely dialed in Aiden. Yeah. Or batch brew in general. So I don't want to make this focused on the Aiden. But it's just kind of like what we've been using here at the pod. You have one, and been the primary batch brew. But we've used the Breville Precision Brewer, the Aiden, the Ratio, the Bonavita. I mean, I've used, I don't know, a Mr. Coffee in your crusty Airbnb. Yeah, it's so.
And also everything from the commercial stuff too, like Curtis.
Correct.
What's the other big one that we've used?
Fetco.
I'm seeing the logo, but I can't.
Yeah.
Any any of those still like crush. And in cafes, like we've seen a lot of cafes that are brewing in the 1 liter or the bigger sized mocha masters too. That's been a popular thing in cafes that are not doing a lot of batch brew. But I think even, was it Scott or someone recommended to have smaller batch sizes for batch brew to rotate more to keep the freshness, and it actually makes like tasty coffee. Yeah. And we've always talked about the fact that for trusted coffee, always go with the batch. Yeah. And I think this episode is like kind of unpacking why we feel that way, or why we lean towards like batch brew in general, because one, it's more than just convenience factor. Right. It actually makes good coffee, and people have a hard time believing that because they're used to maybe a slight echo chamber of saying like, I've heard that pour over is the best coffee. And once you get stuck in making pour overs or classic V60s, it's really hard to like separate yourself from that. Right. Because even for bigger, like I used to even believe this, like for bigger batches, I would either brew a double pour over or even go a Chemex before choosing a batch brew. And I feel like then something shifted where I started drinking more batch, or maybe because I don't remember exactly why I leaned more on batch, but then I started experiencing batch brew in the new way that I would never, well, I guess never say never, but I don't think I would ever lean towards a Chemex over a batch brew anymore.
Right. And kind of talking about like how do you build out like a great batch brew setup at home? How do you set yourself up for success for brewing exceptional batch? But we'll go big and then we'll narrow down. So out of all drip coffee makers that you can get for your home, what are you getting? Are you getting the Black & Decker?
What? Oh, all of them?
Are you getting the Black & Decker? Or are you getting the Mr. Coffee? Which one are you buying? If you had something on your wish list for Christmas 2025, are you getting a Black & Decker one? Is that what your Amazon wish list says?
Dude. Well,
the DeLonghi?
Dude, I think we've settled this for a while. It's definitely the Aiden. That's why we have Aidens out of all. You're saying all machines?
All machines.
Yeah. No. Oh man, now I want to break it down like price wise and return on investment. No, Aiden hands down. It's worth for
$400.
It's worth it.
Is it $400?
It's not $400.
I think that's the last one. That's the last time I checked.
I don't think it's $400.
I'm gonna check right now.
That's. I don't think it's not that I remember.
Fellow Aiden. I was looking at it the other day because I really wanted one. It is $400. $400 whopping dollars.
400 and change, or 400? Where we at?
$399.95.
Okay. That's.
So you're saving yourself 5 cents from my estimate. But I'll tell you this: they have. Oh man. This isn't what the podcast is all about at all. Zero. But they have this lime green. This not lime green, but like this dark green one. They did release
some colors, and the desert one.
The dark green is. Oh, the desert one is bonkers. Yeah. Are you kidding me?
They're leaning into it, dude. I think they also have all the Carter mugs to match that too. All those colors.
Honestly, I think the black. Honestly, I think the black one that I'm staring at right now is probably the worst one you can get.
The most basic?
It's the most basic. It looks cheaper than like it should. It just looks
just
bad.
Think of it.
I think I like your white one more than the black one.
Just think of Just think of it this way. When the iPhone 3 and 3GS launched, it came in 2 colors.
No, it didn't.
Yeah, it did.
In the black
and white.
Black and white.
Or no, I'm wrong. There was chrome. I don't know why. That was one of my first thoughts. Like, even the Apple launched in just 2 colors.
The black fellow, Aiden does look like a 3GS. It's giving me hard 3GS vibes. Now that you're talking about, it's got the gloss, 3GS the teardrop design on the back.
Yeah, it was like beveled. Yeah, there's nothing perfect. Round. I'm looking at it right now.
But
there's nothing round. It's all square.
Got like the matte black, but also that glossy window, the screen. I don't know. Anyways, it's still worth $400, you think?
Yes, 100%. And I'll be honest, it's not the most expensive batch brewer. Can you guess what the most expensive batch brewer is? I don't know if you would call it a batch brewer, but I guess it's in the category.
What is it? What is it? The pour over thing?
No.
What is it?
Which pour over thing?
The one that makes the pour over? What the heck?
By Hario?
Whatever.
X Bloom?
Forget it. X Bloom.
X Bloom is not a batch brewer. It brews
I know.
single cup.
But it's a little bit more pricier.
Yeah, no, it's the ratio 8.
Ratio.
Like
oh, yes.
600.
The ratio 8 is
my
bonkers.
buddy Ethan bought it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The ratio 8
Dude,
is...
that's a person who needs to talk about batch brew. His batch brew setup is over $1,000.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's all he brews.
He should have been on this
Like,
podcast. But yeah, honestly, I didn't realize that all drip coffee makers are now getting more expensive. Like the Breville Precision Brewer, which they made like a V2. They recently released. It's like the Luxe Brewer. Is $350.
Yeah,
that's very interesting. So honestly, anyways, I think the Breville, the Fellow Aiden is probably the best. No matter what people say about it, it's probably the best brewer that you can get. It's a little pricier.
Yeah,
it's got some quirks to it, but honestly, for what you can get and what the results, the cup, spectacular.
Yeah.
So you get, you choose your drip coffee maker of choice, which I think also, you have like the Mocha Master, which isn't too bad at all. So there's some, let's just say, like, even though we're cheering hard for Fellows machine, there's still some really great options on the market. Yeah. Even the Breville Precision Brewer, it has some customizability. Yeah. Nowadays, I actually would say, like, unless it's the ratio and maybe the Mocha Master, resort to a machine that has some customizability. Yeah. Like bloom, time, all, some of the pulses that you can tweak, they just go a far way to making a really exceptional cup. So pick something that has some customizable options. I don't know. What do you think about that?
Again, like, not to get stuck in like that loop of the Aiden, but yeah, I think that was a game changer for me. I started brewing more batch brew because I was able to do that, because dialing in batch brew changes completely when you have that. So I don't know if there's a shift in how we define a batch brewer, but it's way more technical than your drip coffee machine. Uh-huh. And I think that's a benefit that's why we get these results that you and I always boast about. I know, but I mean, with that said, to step to the other side of things, the single button Bonavita batch brewer, where you just, and ratio is also single button. Yeah. I don't know if there's a lot of those, like, the simplicity of the Bonavita, I think, is also still one of my favorites. Like, probably even more than thinking about, like, even to set the bloom. Remember on the Bonavita, you had to press and hold the button. It was like a secret mode, like press and hold the button to do a little bloom to it. But I think the Bonavita also sticks out to me as like the beginning of the game changer for me when it came to batch brew. And one, you can probably go to a Goodwill, go to any, I don't know, like secondhand store and probably find one, because they're very like commonly moved out of a house because someone gets so hyped on a pour over and they decide that they need to drop it off. Yep. And you can pick one up to experiment. And that's personally what I would do. If you haven't leaped at home on the batch brew train and you're like, okay, I'm not going to get a Aiden, like, that's crazy, like, I'm going to invest into a new grinder, classic, then I would say, hey, go to your local thrift store and find a Bonavita. I would definitely aim for that.
Yeah, like, I mean, find something on eBay or something.
Or eBay, even better. Yeah. I would say it just executes really well. And I remember, even in my early SCA days, I remember like that having that little SCA symbol in the Bonavita for the fact that it does hold heat really, really well. It hits all of those standards that you want that the Mr. Coffee probably can't, so that, and then a step above that, if you're like, okay, like Bonavita is great, but I kind of want to invest some money, the OXO one is an underrated one. Like, I personally haven't used it, but the amount of people that I've talked to that have the OXO batch brewer, and I think they may have like a little more variety in it, but OXO makes also a pretty good batch brewer, and that's one thing, is like OXO is popping up on the coffee scene left and right. So I would look into that batch brewer as well.
Yeah. I think there is, though. I think there is a pretty wide gap between like a Fellow brew quality and a Bonavita quality.
Yes.
So there's still like
For sure.
you can resort to some of the lower tier ones. You're still gonna get a decent cup, but the difference is big. So I think if you really want to max it out, customizability is huge. I think also is something you kind of hinted at is a grinder.
Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, nothing will replace having a really solid grinder. Like, you know, I mean, we grind all of our batch brews here for the pod on an EK. It does a fantastic job, especially for batch brew. So get yourself a really good grinder. And I mean, nowadays, even if you just buy like the Fellow Ode, even if you get the Gen 1, the older one that now I guess nobody really talks about and hypes about, but it's a really good batch brew grinder. I know that's what you had for a little bit. Again, not as it's still on the affordable scale. It's still towards the more affordable options, not super expensive, but it'll do a really solid job. So that's what I would recommend. Or, you know, the flip side is, I mean, this might be really, I don't know, maybe some people disagree. Go to your local cafe and just tell them to grind your batch brew, your coffee that you bought from them. Just tell them to grind it for you. And you buy like an 8-ounce bag. And that bag will last you for a week of brewing every single day. You come back the next week. You just become a regular at your cafe. You say, hey, can you just grind this for me, please?
And for batch brew, and
it's going to be phenomenal.
Now, if you were doing the same thing for like pour over or espresso, I'd be like, yeah, please don't do that. Like that's not good. But because batch brew is so forgiving, because the range for, you know, dialed in grind size is so forgiving, you can play around with dose and water and still hit a fairly closely dialed batch brew, especially if you're using customizations on your brew recipe, like on the Aiden. But I mean, on even the ratio, I think if you just adjust a little bit with dose, adjust a little bit with water, I think like getting pre-ground coffee is not as bad as we used to think it was, you know, especially with the fact that you are buying an 8-ounce bag. You're not committing to a whole pound of coffee. You probably, if you're brewing batch every day, you're most likely going through 8 ounces of coffee in a week. So it's like, you know, that's a little more than an ounce of coffee a day.
Don't buy a month's worth of coffee. No. I'm saying like a week's worth, and you should be in the bottle. That's if you don't have a grinder. Most of you who are listening to this podcast probably do have a good enough grinder, but that's if you don't.
What's a dream grinder for a batch brewer?
I don't know. It's a great question. Actually, that's interesting.
Or is that like a even a good question? I mean, a good grinder is going to be a good grinder whether you do batch brew or filter.
I mean, you probably don't want to be hand grinding your
I was going to bring that up, and maybe I'll send it for a different episode. But if you have, you know, different customizations, you could still get away with a 20-gram dose. But would that be a batch?
I don't know.
These machines are making the conversation around what a batch of coffee is very challenging.
So I think just any solid grinder will do. Again, hand grinder is probably going to take a little bit more time, a little bit more effort. But the other thing I wanted to touch on is the flat bottom versus cone shaped baskets. I think that actually makes a pretty big difference. I think just from my experience, I love how on the Fellow Aiden you have the cone and it automatically switches from, like, smaller doses will have the cone shape and bigger doses will have the flat bottom, that you can change the baskets. I think having a different basket that you can put into is a big difference. It plays a big role. Like, I know the Breville Precision Brewer has that. The Fellow Aiden has that. I don't know if anybody else does.
And again, like,
it's kind of a niche thing.
Mocha Master?
I thought the Mocha Master might. I don't know. Maybe some models. I don't know. But I think that plays a pretty decent role. Like, I think the cone shape gives it more of that some of those filter qualities where you're getting a little bit more complexity, probably a little bit more just out of your coffee. I don't know. I think it's neat that Fellow kind of gives you, which actually one thing I don't like about the Fellow is that they give you a cutoff point to when you can use the basket.
I didn't want to bring that up, but 100%.
That annoys me because I'm like, I just want a little bit bigger brew with the cone, but they're not letting me use the cone.
And you can compensate with grind size and pulsating.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense why you would make a cutoff.
Yeah,
like that was. I'm like, I'm curious.
Careful, that might spill.
Oh, I think it's empty.
No, the carafe.
Ooh, the carafe.
Yeah.
Maybe I want some more batch.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what it is.
But it's annoying that they have the cutoff, but it kind of makes sense because I think they're really trying to just simplify it and make it plug and play for people, which is fine. I get it. Makes sense. But man, it is a big difference between the cone and the flat bottom. I don't know. I'm just. I'm sold on it.
We should talk, because then there's the other thing is their spray head. That's, I think, a patented technology that only. I'm pretty sure it's patent. Their modified spray head on the Aiden, where you switch on and off. But I don't know. I agree with you. I like the cone. Going back to our early days on the pod when we used a Breville, I thought that majority of our batch brews were better on the flat than the cone. I did not like how the Breville machine did the cone. And maybe it just had too much of a heat sink there and it kind of drained a lot of heat. And also majority of the beds on the cone shaped are still pretty divoted. They are not flat. I don't think the spray head technology is there, especially for all machines that have the cone, to create as even extraction as the flat. Again, someone who's way smarter than me that has actually tested this. And I'm curious if anybody actually did a test on different shapes of batch brew with extraction, and something Lance should probably do if he's listening. But I would be super curious about that, because I feel like flat bottomed brews taste more like better extracted, if that makes sense. They may not have the dynamic range that a cone had, but I feel like the evenness of extraction is better. And maybe I'm being deceived by the concept that it's kind of like if you take a V60 and compare it to a flat bottom brewer, you have more body on the flat bottom brewer. It's not as crispy, and maybe it masks a couple of things. And that's why I think that. But I find myself enjoying flat brewers on the batch brew more than the cone shape. That's me. Yeah. And again, I might be stuck in the ratio days. Ratio was the batch brewer I've used the most in my life. And maybe I can't get away from that flavor profile, and I absolutely love it, but that's where I'm at. Especially on the Aiden, I brew on, I don't even have any more filters of the cone, and I forgot I don't. I mean, can I go on a rant again with the cone shaped stuff? Cone shaped filters. Why have we had one type of filter for decades for the cone shape on the batch brewer? It's the Melita ones, right? There's no actual V60 shaped cone. It all comes down to a flat surface. And that bugs the living crap out of me, is that there's two seams on it. On a V60 filter, there's one seam. On that filter, there's two. And maybe it's a mental thing. I feel like it messes with the brew. And then it makes the bed way different. I don't know. I just pet peeve right there.
Why? It's always been that way.
Just because it's always been doesn't mean it's right.
The Melita filter's OG.
They are OG, but doesn't mean they're the best. I mean, why hasn't Seabreeze dropped filters for a batch brewer? They're missing out on the market.
Crazy. I mean,
in the words of Jay said, the business is in the filters.
That's crazy.
It's one thing to make a brewer, but filters. And if doesn't Fellow make their own filters, or do they just sell them on their website? That's what I'm not sure. Have you had to reorder filters for a batch brew yet?
I've not. I just went and bought them in the store.
Do they fit fine in the basket?
Yeah, I've bought some Fellow filters from a cafe, and I've brought some Mocha Master filters. They don't fit the best. I have to modulate them in there. See? But it works. It works. I don't know. I'm a big fan of the cone shape batch brew. Big fan. I think for bigger sized brews, I think definitely the flat bottom makes a lot more sense. Both, brew wise, taste wise, everything wise. But yeah, I think just to wrap this up is you can get you can set yourself up for a really nice batch brew setup at home, and it's not going to cost you an arm and a leg, and you don't even need Like if you don't want to, you don't need a pour over setup. You don't need an espresso machine setup. You don't need any setup. Just get yourself a nice grinder. Choose literally one of the batch brewers that we talked about.
Mm-hmm.
You're done. Bada bing, bada boom.
Okay. A little rapid
your coffee.
Rapid fire questions for you. I'm curious. I've never asked you this before. Do you remember on the fellow, do you remember how he used to stir the bloom? Do you stir the bloom on the batch brew? Do you wiggle the bloom? Do you shake the bloom?
No, I don't.
Do you do anything with the bloom?
No.
You're just letting it bloom?
I'm just letting it bloom.
I guess.
I'm just going to let the robots
let it flower.
I'm gonna
let it do the thing.
I'm going to let the robots do their thing. That's it.
And another thing, are you the type of batch brewer person who warm ups the carafe or rinses the filter?
Oh, I do rinse the filter.
Okay,
actually.
good guy.
I do.
Good guy.
I do.
Yep.
It might be unnecessary. I think it's like. I think that's like.
I did it in the cafe.
I think that's
it's
like
100%
I think
necessary.
it's an old person thing. Like you're just an old person in the industry.
Stuck in your ways.
You're just stuck in your ways, and you're still like rinsing filters.
When was the last time you drank filter water?
I don't know.
You should try it. Cup it blindly.
I don't know. I don't like where these questions are going.
No, those are the two main ones.
All right. Yeah. Folks, thank you so much for listening to another episode of the Coffee Roaster Warm Sessions podcast. Go get yourself a few bags of coffee. Go pick up the Ethiopia, the Sebastian. And yeah, as we always say, remember, reflect what's good.